they applauding at the joke? That was funny. I'm sorry you were at break and we missed it. Do you want to introduce who's with us today?
This is Nell, Doyle, and Tom Krown.
Welcome to the show.
And they're going to talk to us about David's Trail, and there are props.
There are props.
Yes.
I made the mistake about asking about the frog, didn't
I?
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. This is the 4th annual David's Trail Day, and we, Arkansas Master Naturalists, partners with Wells Fargo Advisors, and also the David's Trail Foundation, which was established about 7 years ago when David Floyd, who was a community leader, passed away unexpectedly. David loved the outdoors and he loved athletics, and so this is our way to celebrate his life and also get families and kids interested in doing the kinds of things that David really liked to do. So we get them out on the trail, and we're going to have a number of activities at the Panther Bay Pavilion. You just go past Walmart on Highway 62 and turn at 101, and it's about 1/8 of a mile to the Panther Bay Pavilion. And we'll have people set up there'll be tree cookies, which are slices of trees where kids will learn how to not only age, but also learn a little bit about how trees do when the weather's really dry and that kind of thing. We have macroinvertebrates. They'll get to look through telescopes and look at all kinds of underwater critters. We also will have earthworm races, which I did not know what that was last year, but I was the worm master. So
Do you tilt them and let them roll?
no,
or they
it's just a big flat 3-foot by 3-foot thing, and you put the earthworms in the middle, and it's got some circles. And
kind of like a turtle race?
Yeah, you kind of squirt them a little bit, and whichever one gets to the outside ring.
Oh,
The worm master, that sounds like an important position. Were you the ones that dropped the...
Yes.
Oh.
And I'm also the one that controlled the spray bottle.
Oh.
So you're the person to get to know if you want to be involved in that.
We're also going to have samples of mammal pelts and furs and scat and tracks so that kids can learn what animals produce what kinds of tracks and that kind of thing.
Well, that is important. You go out on a trail and you look at things like that and you go, what is that? So, I mean, that gives you a good way for the kids to be interested and excited about being outdoors.
Right. And Tom is here. Tom is going to teach kids and families who come to David's Trail Day about how to identify frogs and toads from their calls. And he's got a few little props here to show us.
Most of the little stations are all in one area, but they put the frogs far away, and I just realized why. It's because they have worm raises. We don't want any frogs jumping in there destroying their race.
That's right.
Turns into a worm eating contest.
Right. I'm associated with Frog Watch USA, and we have volunteers all over the country. We go out from spring to summer and listen at our ponds and identify all the frogs you hear at your pond by the species, the specific species, and by their intensity. Write it down. We send it into a national database. So we teach. We've already had several classes here. We're going to have one at ASU Mountain Home. But we teach people how to recognize frogs by their calls. I brought my pet bullfrog. He's very tame. As long as we don't make any sudden noises, he won't jump too far. But he has a call. The bullfrog, the American bullfrog, sounds like this: rum, 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 rum. Sometimes he stutters, rum, 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 rum. Try it. Come on, you can do better.
Rum, rum,
Rum, rum.
Is he thirsty, or rum is just the word
He's
that he
actually
uses?
looking for a mate. That's when frogs call, is in the springtime when they're looking for a mate.
You shouldn't have told Nan that.
All the bullfrogs in the county will be going to his house.
You'll be hearing me out looking for a mate. Okay.
This is what it actually sounds like. Kind of a stutter at the end.
Sounds just
He's
like
telling the
you.
other frogs to row. Row.
A lot of people think it sounds like rum.
Yeah,
Rum,
yeah,
rum,
yeah,
rum,
yeah.
rum, rum. And so when the kids come to our station, they're going to learn 4 of the frog calls, including the bullfrog. Besides that, we're going to show them how to make a frog out of a business card. This is a little origami frog. You put it on the table,
And
it actually jumps.
Cool.
And they'll all get a bookmark that we made up that has all the Arkansas frogs and toads all listed, and some interesting frog facts, like they use their eyeballs, drops into their mouth cavity to help swallow their food, to push it down.
Oh, really?
I mean, there's some really interesting frog facts on
my
these.
goodness gracious.
And you can each have one of these.
Okay, cool.
That's good.
They're very interesting.
I didn't realize that different frogs would make different sounds.
All different calls. If you ask someone to make a call like a frog, they generally say ribbit,
Ribbit.
ribbit, ribbit. That ribbit frog is only on the West Coast. When they changed from silent movies to talking movies,
Yeah.
they needed a pond scene,
Yeah,
so they went out and
went out
recorded
west,
the
yeah.
frogs. That's what they had, was ribbit frogs.
Yeah.
So just recently, my wife and I saw a movie about a Texas couple at a pond. What do you hear in the background? Ribbit, 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 because they're using the same soundtrack that they used years ago.
So depending on where the frog's from, like a southern frog would be different than a
They actually
West
do, they vary slightly, but American bullfrog is going to sound like that more or less depending on where you hear it in the country.
Now, the 4th annual David's Trail Day is what day?
October 20th, that's Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. Free of admission, lots of activities for families and kids, and we love seeing kids come out. I know we've had a lot of homeschool kids come out. Their teachers look for the event. Kids from public and private schools, families. It's, after church on Sunday, so, maybe even church groups might want to go out.
Sure. And it's one thing to learn about this on the internet, but it's another great reason to get out and actually do some hands-on. So,
Right,
Sure.
exactly.
Out in nature.
we appreciate you coming by. Thanks for the sounds, and you gonna leave your frog here with us, or?
You better.
I think it would stay there as long as no one bothered it.
You better take it with you. Don't rely on Dan to feed it.
I'll need that at David's Trail Day.
Thank you. We encourage everyone to come out. Again, that's October 20th.
Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. at Panther Bay Pavilion on Norfolk Lake. Take 62 past Walmart, turn left on 101, go an eighth of a mile.
And David's Trail will be posted there.
Yes,
All right.
we'll have
Free
signs out.
admission. Wonderful.
Thanks very
Beautiful
much.
weather for that too.
Yeah,
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
You're welcome. Thank you. Up next, we have Jim McDonald and Natalie Slesser with the St. Andrews Episcopal Church talking about Gamma House's Crooked Creek. Actually, the Crooked Creek Bluegrass Band will be there. We'll talk about that event. Stay with us.